From the earliest settled homes to the edge of the modern age, comfort was engineered with materials you could touch, repair, and understand. Before the 1950s, sleep depended on craft, not convenience. Every layer mattered. Every sound and texture told you how the night would unfold. This story begins where your body meets the bed and moves outward into the room itself. Mattresses came first, and they were heavy for a reason. Early mattresses relied on coil springs tied by hand, then packed with horsehair, straw, cotton, or wool. Horsehair dominated because it breathed. You could feel air move through it when you shifted. Springs pressed back with a firm resistance. No sinking, no contouring. Horsehair stayed springy even after years of use. It resisted moisture and mold. Wool added warmth and weight. Cotton softened the surface, but compressed fast. Foam did not arrive until much later, and when it did, it trapped heat and wore unevenly. These older mattresses demanded rotation and care. Bedding layers controlled comfort more than the mattress itself. A cotton or linen sheet always touched the skin. It absorbed sweat and oils. Above that came wool blankets stacked by season. Weight mattered. Heavier blankets reduced movement and kept warmth close. Feathers filled quilts for those who could afford them. Each layer served a single purpose. Sheets protected the body. Blankets trapped heat. Quilts balanced weight. Nothing was decorative. Bedding smelled of soap, lanolin, and clean air. At night, you heard fabric shift, not rustle. Pillows followed the same logic. Feathers ruled the upper classes. Chopped straw, buckwheat hulls, or wool scraps filled common pillows. These pillows stayed firm. They lifted the neck rather than cradling it. You punched them flat before sleep. They made a dull thump when set down. Feather pillows required constant drying and airing. Moisture ruined them. Wool pillows lasted longer and resisted pests. Cotton flattened fast. No pillow shaped itself to you. You adapted your body instead. Bed frames, well, they anchored everything. Wood frames really dominated the scene. Oak, pine, and maple, those were the ones carrying the load. Underneath, you had rope lattices or metal springs to support the mattress. Now, ropes would stretch and sag over time, sure enough. You'd just tighten them up with a wooden key. Springs, on the other hand, creaked softly whenever you moved. That sound, it signaled wear, not failure. Height mattered, you know. Beds sat up high to avoid drafts and pests. Folks kept storage underneath. Frames were always built to be repaired. If you had a cracked slat, that just meant a new board, not a whole new bed. Sheets really defined cleanliness. Linen, made from flax, felt cool and crisp to the touch. Cotton spread later, with trade and industry. Sheets started out rough, but softened over years of washing. White was important. It showed dirt. Clean sheets meant labor had been done, plain and simple. Room setup shaped sleep more than folks realize. Beds were placed away from windows and doors, you know. Walls blocked the wind and heavy curtains sealed up any openings. Fireplaces or stoves warmed the space before sleep, then died down overnight. Walls and floors affected warmth and sound. Plaster walls held heat while wood floors creaked and, well, they stayed cold. Rugs really mattered. Straw mats insulated feet. Bare stone just pulled heat right from the body. Nighttime routines prepared the body. People aired bedding daily, and mattresses stood on edge. Blankets were hung up. Folks washed their bodies before bed. Nightcaps helped retain heat. Hot bricks or stones warmed the sheets in winter. Candles got dimmed early, and, well, darkness came fast. Back then, sleep itself was lighter. Folks would wake up during the night, just to listen to the quiet around them. They'd adjust their blankets, making sure everything felt just right. Silence really mattered. The bed would respond to every movement with a bit of sound and some resistance. Comfort, well, it came from familiarity, not necessarily from how soft things were. So the modern applicability, it really sits in these details. Breathable materials help regulate heat, which is pretty important. Firm support goes a long way to protect your spine. Layered bedding lets you adjust things without needing any fancy technology. Repairable frames, they can last for decades if you take care of them. Airing out your bedding reduces moisture and keeps pests away. Honestly, these practices matter in any environment where resources are limited. The takeaway here is actually pretty simple. Comfort used to come from understanding your materials and managing them every single day. Softness alone, it never really defined what rest was. Structure did, control did. So learn from these old systems and apply what works for you. Build your sleep setup with real intention. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles and share this with anyone who values practical history and real-world readiness.